When I was in San Antonio, the school that I was teaching at was majority Hispanic, Mexican American.
Okay.
So in my mind, I'm now a minority
Mm-hmm.
teaching a minority that I don't know anything about. They
Mm-hmm.
think they know about African Americans and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't.
No.
So trying to culturally understand and make sure they understand me and still be a professional was a challenge. And then of course with everything happening in our world these past few months,
Mm.
and then working like in my setting now with third graders, to where they're soaking up and listening to what their
Everything.
parents say and how they feel, and then they come to school. Well, my mama said this,
Mm.
and did you see this? And
Yeah.
knowing how to shut it down, because in my mind, like, nah, you too young for this. This is grown folks stuff.
Mm.
But on the flip, I'm like, I'm glad they have a voice, and I'm glad they're trying to tamper into it, and I want them to kind of grapple with it like appropriately, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want them to not know,
Yeah.
but then I have to be careful with saying my biases and my, you know. So that has been a very interesting challenge as well. Just to make sure like everything is fair, but
Yeah.
I'm still listening,
Mm.
coping, and being empathetic
Yes.
to everyone, even if they don't agree. Because there's
Mm.
been a moment where I have kids in that I teach that are not aligned with what
Mm.
I feel and I believe. Um, so it's a challenge. I remember I had one kid in when I was doing the 7th, 8th science. He was a 7th grader, and he like said a racial slur,
Mm-hmm.
like a really deep one. I wasn't there,
Mm-hmm.
but he was in my homeroom. So we did the whole restorative conversation. We
Yeah.
talked about it. And then he said the slur again.
Wow.
And it was hard. Like I had to really like dig down as a teacher because it was hard because I'm like, yo, this kid is in my homeroom. So I have to do my job. But
Mm-hmm.
clearly he feels this way
Yeah.
about
Strongly.
people who look like me.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So it was a little bit of a challenge. I told my principal, I was like, this is like mentally a challenge for me.
Mm.
So I don't know what I need to necessarily do at this point. So it was hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't be in this work if it was easy.
I feel you. That's it.
So
That's it.
it's a good challenge to have, but it was definitely hard for sure.
Mm. Yeah, that's so real. That's so real. I mean, and you want to create that setting, that environment where every kid feels safe and comfortable to just speak their minds. Because especially as a kid, we know that they gain this belief somewhere, most likely at home, right? So we know it's not their natural nature. I taught first grade, so the lower you get with teaching kids, you know that they're not born racist. They pick it up as they go, like whether consciously or subconsciously, they pick it up from home or from school or how they see people being treated or the media. So you have to just hold that and know that this kid, you want to believe that you can do something to change it, regardless of where they're at that point. You think you can create an environment and create a conversation and create a setting in the schools that can actually change that child. So I think that was big of you to really put your ego aside and really just see the bigger purpose and the bigger
brother. When I tell you it was hard, it was definitely hard because because the crazy thing was that student was super bright. He is one of my artsy students. He loved to draw. So I was constantly trying to incorporate stuff. Luckily, it was science, right? So it was super easy to incorporate drawing and art with the content. So he excelled in my class, and I felt like we related. But then once that got out, it was like, oh, now I got to be consistent in how I treat you, knowing this. Because if you're an adult, I knew this, like me personally, I'm good on you. Like I'm wiping my hands to the situation, and I'll be respectful, but I'm not going to be around you.
Yeah.
But I was forced to be around him. So I think it's a good thing that I think I was tested that way because I know it's probably getting me ready for. I mean, I don't want it to happen to me in the future, but in case it does, whether it's with another adult or another student, like I'm now prepared for it,
Yeah, for sure.